Minya mia wonim die hiame. Minya mie wonim die hiame. Minya mia wonim die hiame obeya mame. Hallelujah. Oh, this is a good day. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Kobo Sports Room, where we talk football with all the transfer windows, everything. We talk everything football here. So make sure you click on the subscribe button, you press the post notification bell. This is your Europa League review. I wanted to bring you the preview, but I was uploading the file, was not coming. I don't know what was happening. I don't know, but YouTube had issues yesterday. I don't know. I was uploading the file, it wasn't coming. So I eventually left it like that. Then that's why the preview didn't come. But the review is here, and I'm going to give you the review. And this time around, I'm sure when I post or when I upload, it is going to come. But you know, it is a bright morning, bright Thursday morning. Yesterday was the Europa League final between Tottenham Hotspurs and Manchester at the Summer Mess in Spain. Top stadium. Before I go to everything, let me just commend the Spanish football. They have top stadiums. What a stadium. The stadium is a very beautiful stadium. A top stadium. So, Summer Mess and then the Bilbao, administration, big shout outs to them. They are running a very good sporting, in terms of, facilities. This is a stadium. Very brilliant stadium. I've seen Summer Mess, but yesterday was where I really saw what Summer Mess looks like. Very beautiful stadium. But this review is going to be in 3 sections. We're going to talk about social media, reactions from fans, from players themselves, and from the coaches. And we are going to look at some of the news that is coming today or this morning as at 10 a.m., 9 a.m. in Manchester United. The transfer strategies, the news we are getting, the PR gimmicks we are getting left, right, center. We're going to talk about that. And we are going to also talk about the game proper. We are going to talk about the game proper. So let's do this. We will combine the news that is coming out from Manchester United and then some of their legends. We have to talk to them. We talk to the legends. I have something to say about them. We'll come there. So it is in 3 sections. Ladies and gentlemen, click on the subscribe button, press the post notification bell. Europa League final review. Let's get straight into the video. So let's start with the social media, trolls and gimmicks and whatever is going on. Let's look at some of the things that is going on. But before the game, we had a flyer from the Europa League, and this consists of similar finals or familiar finals between teams that are playing in the same, that are in the same country playing the Europa League final. And in 1972, Tottenham Hotspur versus Wolves, Tottenham won. So when you check the list, it is looking like most of the time the home teams won. Most of the time the home teams won. And you see, Tottenham won. There is, Frankfurt also won in 1980. We had Juventus winning. We had, Inter Milan winning in 1991. We had Parma also winning. We had Inter Milan winning. That is home. And then we have Sevilla winning. That is a home team. Porto also won in 2011. And then we have Atletico Madrid winning. He was also home. And then Atletico Madrid also won in 2012. We also had Chelsea winning against Arsenal in 2019. So it was always pointing to one direction, that Tottenham Hotspur was going to take this trophy. Even though the two teams were not at their best. They have never been at their best. This is not a Tottenham Hotspur I know. This is not a Manchester United we know. But it was pointing to one direction, that Tottenham Hotspur was going to take the trophy. Everything was pointing to one direction, that they were going to take the trophy. We'll come into the game proper, but let's look at some social media, reactions. We are moving to Ange Postecoglou. He said that, he doesn't usually win things, but he wins things in his second season. That is one of the most, iconic football quotes that has ever, hit football. The most iconic football quote ever. So he said he doesn't usually win things. If I have a video, I'll put it in the video for you. That is if copyright will permit me. Let's listen to what he said.
I don't usually win things. I always win things in my second year.
So you see, Ange Postecoglou said that he doesn't win things in his first season, but Mostly in the second season, he wins a lot of things. So after the final, he won the final. CBS Sports Golazzo was asking him, big shout outs to them, they are doing a very great job. They asked him that, I mean, what has he got for us? Because he said that he doesn't usually win things in his first season, but in the second season he will win things. And then he said, I will correct myself. I don't usually win things. I always win things in my second season. So he corrected himself and all of that. So that was very, 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 very great, interview by, Angie Postecoglou and then the CBS Sports Golazzo boys. And then we also have Garnacho's brother talking. You see, we will go into the game proper, but let me quickly talk about Garnacho's brother, and then we'll pause here, revisit this conversation later in the review. Garnacho's brother came to the social media yesterday, and then he wrote something. Let me read it to you. It will be on the screen for you. Working as no one else, helping every round, coming from 2 goals, last 2 finals, just to be on a pitch 19 minutes and get thrown under the bus. Wow. And he was laughing. This was Garnacho's brother's reaction when Garnacho was benched in a Europa League final against Tottenham Hotspur, and he eventually came in for just 19 minutes, which I don't agree with that, but we'll revisit it when we are reviewing, or we are doing the review proper. Let's move to, and then we'll talk about Garnacho's brother and the fact that Garnacho's circle is causing problems for him in Manchester United. He's young. He doesn't need this sort of energy around him. We'll revisit that conversation later. Let's also move to some of the news that is coming out this morning. News are popping out this morning that Bruno Fernandes wants to leave Manchester United. Even Garnacho wants to leave Manchester United. And then Simeone Inzaghi has been tipped as the leading candidate to replace Ruben Amorim. If he will go, or if they will sack him. So that is the news coming out. And of course, we have some news from the English media that Ruben Amorim also wants to leave. He wants to leave the job, and he will not take any compensation when he's leaving the job. And this speaks so badly about how bad the rot is at Manchester United. Manchester United are experiencing a bad rot in their sporting structure, and they need to fix it. If Ruben Amorim is coming just 1 year and he's leaving without any compensation, it should tell you one thing about the sporting structure in Manchester United. So that is the news we are also getting. Bruno Fernandes, it is looking like, he also wants to leave Manchester United. I think he will sit with the board right after the season has ended, and then he will tell them what he wants to do. But Europa League also posted this 1972 and 1984. They won the Europa League, and then they have also added 2025 trophy into the the cabinet. So they now have 3 Europa League trophies for Tottenham Hotspurs. Now we are done with the social media reactions. Let's move into the game proper. I had a problem with the lineup. The lineup Ruben Amorim brought, and then he is not an exception. Of course, if I'm blaming, or if you are to do blame games here, he is not an exception. But here, I don't want to see it from the blame game perspective. I'm not here to portion blames. I don't do that. I feel like a final is a final. Whoever will do things right on the final day has to take the trophy home. That is a final. You are not there to play tactics or anything. You are there to win the final. And that is what Amorim failed to do after the lineup came. In my opinion, Mason Mount had no business to start the game. In my opinion, he needed to play Manuel Ugarte in a DM, because you saw that Pap Matassa and then Bissouma was bossing the midfield. Even though Manchester United had some of the ball, they had a lot of the ball, but in the midfield, Bissouma and then Pap Matassa were dominant in the midfield because Bruno was moving. Casemiro cannot do the job alone. So you need energy in the midfield. And Manuel Ugarte didn't start the game. Bruno Fernandes came too deep. But sometimes he has to go forward to go and give the crosses, give the passes, line breaking passes and all of that. So I needed Bruno Fernandes at the 10 or at the attacking midfield. I needed Manuel Ugarte in the defensive areas, at least with Casemiro Or if someone also can say there wouldn't be any creativity in the midfield. Yes. So you would have to look at it. Are you benching Casemiro for Manuel Ugarte, or are you playing Casemiro alone as a DM, which you know he doesn't have the energy? What are you going to do? You could as well as bench Casemiro. But Casemiro also has European experience in final. So it's going to be very, very difficult for you to bench him. And that leads us to the Mason Mount. He started Mason Mount. I feel that Mason Mount just came back from injury. He has not even had a lot of games. He has had, I think, 2-3 games. And for that one, he's not even started. He comes from the bench most of the time. So Mason Mount had no business in the starting lineup. People will also bring the argument that Mason Mount has also, played a Champions League final before, and therefore he know what it takes to play this sort of games. Not today, not at the moment or at that moment, because Garnacho has been good for Manchester United this season. It has been over 20 goals involvement, so the numbers are good. And as his brother said, of course, 2 goals in finals for Manchester United, but I will come to his brother. You don't worry, I will come to his brother. So, in my opinion, I felt like Garnacho needed to start the game. Bruno Fernandes needed to start the game as the attacking midfielder, just to give the team some attacking threat. Rasmus Højlund had no business starting the game. Honestly, you might as well as play Bruno Fernandes as a false 9, and then bring Garnacho in. Honestly, Rasmus Højlund had no business in the game. Rasmus Højlund is a player who is very stagnated. He doesn't have the flair. So if you have this kind of striker and he's not moving enough, and you are playing against Van de Ven and Kuti, that is, of course, Christian Romero, top guy. He had the man of the match. Brilliant display by the defense, the central defenders of Tottenham Hotspur. Very, very brilliant display from depth. So if you are playing Rasmus Højlund against this sort of defenders, Mickey Van de Ven, and then of course Christian Romero, you are going to get problems because the striker doesn't move enough. So it is going to be very difficult for the striker to get some of the ball or to get supplies because he's stagnated at one place. He doesn't move. So I would even prefer to play a false 9 in the final than to play a striker. And if Zexi was not fit, so Zexi can come in later in the game like 70-something minutes. But the reason why I'm saying that Mason Mount had no business on the pitch is that when he came, we saw nothing from Mason Mount. He had just, I think, 8 or 9 successful passes in the game. 71 minutes playing as an attacking option, and you had only 9 or 8 successful passes. Mason Mount. So he had no business on the field. Honestly, Mason Mount had no business on the field. But of course, we are also going to talk about Tottenham Hotspur and then the fact that they needed the win. You could see or you could tell from the first 20 minutes that Tottenham Hotspur was pressing Manchester United. You saw an incident where I think a pass went from, I think, is it Dogu or someone, and then where Brennan Johnson took the ball and then he just hit the ball. Onana got a hand with the ball and then he was just it just went to corner. From that moment, you could tell that Tottenham Hotspurs were up to something. And they were always going to score. And after they scoring, they kind of sat back and laid back, which I don't agree with Tottenham Hotspurs doing that because I feel like it's too risky to do that. So from that point, I saw that Tottenham Hotspurs were up to something. And of course, it is final. You don't sit there and allow your opposition or your opponent to just take the game to you like that early in the game. It doesn't have to happen like that. You see, so all in all, I think that when you check the stats, Tottenham Hotspur had only 1 shot on target and they scored 1 goal. United had 6 shots on target. Vicario was top. Van de Ven was top. Kuti was top. Hard man of the match. You need big players to show up in the final. Pap Matasar, that ball was very, 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 very brilliant cross from Pap Matasar, and then for Brennan Johnson to also convert the goal. Onana, Charlie, Man United for such keeper, they have to go in for a new goalkeeper. It is not good. It is not looking good. Even we have heard stories about Onana in Cameroon. I don't want to go there. That is not football, so I don't want to go there. But of course, Manchester United, I have a message for the legends. You see, the legends, Rio Ferdinand, Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, Gary Neville, all the legends, after the game, they were apportioning blames left, right, center. This one is blaming coach. This one will take this player and blame him. This one will take this player and blame him. You guys are legends in a game. You are legends in Manchester United. Look at your mates. Paolo Maldini, Deco. Look at your mates. These guys are going into football administration just to come back to their former team and help their former team. What are you guys doing? You are there, sitting there, criticizing, sitting there, apportioning blames. Imagine Rio Ferdinand in football administration just to come back and help Manchester United. Rio Ferdinand as the sporting director for Manchester United. Scholes as the sporting director for Manchester United. Roy Keane as, director of, recruitment for Manchester United. What would have happened? It would have been a very perfect combo. But they are there apportioning blames. Doing PR, left, right, center. They have to also take some shame. Look at your mates. I mentioned them, Deco, Paolo Maldini, all the likes. They are in football, helping their former team. What are you doing to help your former team? It is just talk. You just talk. Are you going to talk to help your former team? No. Come inside and help the team from inside within. Don't sit at the back of the park and throw stones onto the pitch. So they have to also bow down their heads in shame. They don't have any moral right to come and criticize anybody. What have you done after your footballing career to help your team in terms of sporting structure? What have you done to help your team? No football administrations, none of them. They're just there, panditry, criticizing, podcast. That's what they know. But big congratulations to Tottenham Hotspurs. I think Andy Postecoglou, you are my man. And then big congratulations to them, Tottenham Hotspurs. I am not a Tottenham Hotspurs fan, but I will support Tottenham Hotspurs against Manchester United on any day. On any day, I will support Tottenham Hotspurs against Manchester United. So, congratulations to Tottenham Hotspurs. I'm very happy for Son Heung-min. He lifted the trophy. He has done really, really well. Son Heung-min, we talk about Son Heung-min. We'll talk about him, in one of our transfer videos. We'll talk about Son Heung-min. But, of course, big congratulations to them, Pap Matassa, all the players. Pedro Porro, Mickey Van de Ven, Kuti, that is Christian Romero, who had the man of the match. Brilliant display to them. Garnacho's brother. I have a message for Garnacho's brother and Garnacho. Garnacho, Manchester United is a political club. You are just a small boy. Manchester United is a political club. Ronaldo couldn't fight against the system. Do you think you can fight against the system? No. So what Garnacho has to do is that he has some kind of, promising career ahead of him. Just keep your mouth shut. Tell your people not to, cause problems for you outside the box. Shut them inside. Because you are just a small boy. If you will leave Manchester United on a good note, like what Bruno Fernandes wants to do. He has paid his dues. So when he moves to the board and say, oh, I just want to leave for, let's say, any amount that will come, just allow me to leave. Of course, they will do that. So don't leave Manchester United on a bad note. It might not end well for you. So Garnacho should shut his brother up. I believe that Garnacho should have started the game, yes, but it is gone. So shut your brother up. Don't let him cause problems for you. So that's the message I have for Garnacho and then his brother. And ladies and gentlemen, this has been your review. We brought you, juicy stories about the, social media. That is what is going on. And then we also brought you some news that is coming out from Manchester United. And also brought you the review, what we think or what we thought about the video. Drop all your comment down below. What is the way forward for Manchester United? Drop all your comment down below. I will see you in the next video. This is Kobo Sports Room. This has been your Europa League final review. Thank you so much for your time. Take care of yourselves and peace.